Hello. This is the 19th in a series of videos that I'm making called The State of the School. The school is Frank School, and the location is the Camp Ranch campus of Frank School. And I just recently was, for 2 or 3 videos, was talking about the history and the architecture, archaeology of this area. But I want to turn now to the soil and botany. Uh, and I'll deal with soil first. The two are clearly related, and I have learned a lot about both, I could say, in the last year. But regarding the soil is terrible by most measures. It's almost like there isn't such a thing as topsoil anywhere on the 35 acres, 37 acres that my wife and I own here. Not exactly. That's because in the first place it was mountain ground. It wasn't limestone soil before anything was done to it. But then the raping began, really, because it was extractive industry. I mean, they took out logs, lots, and they continue to do so. I mean, it's one of the things that can grow is trees. And the mining, the iron mining. Now, that didn't do the damage that, say, coal mining might have done. It didn't poison the ground. But a lot of that iron mining was done on the surface. Some was in shafts up on the mountain. And when it went bankrupt, as it did sometime around maybe 1890, mid-1890s or something like that, because of other iron ores opening up. At some point, 20 years or 30 years after that, Oppenheimer, not Marcus, that was his son, who lived here and did a lot of this stuff. But his father, Norbert, had it done, bulldozed the area, just smoothed it out to try to make it pretty again and look like farms, and then sell it. There had been farms here, about 3, but they were mountain ground farms. Anyway, the soil is terrible. And I've actually become glad of that. I'm glad that the soil is so bad. It's been a gift. And I'll tell you in a minute why. But my mother, she told me when I came here, back when I was in my 20s, I came here sort of as her agent, and I wanted to try to farm it, as my grandfather, Grandpa Jim Camp, had tried and sort of successfully done with lots of input of lime and fertilizer and seeds and plowing, and never making money at it. I wanted to see if I could continue his work. We called it a ranch, and ultimately he basically grazed animals on it instead of doing the farming. Well, she told me I could do what I wanted in a way, but I could not plow, I could not fertilize, and I could not spray. Those 3 things I could not do. So what else was left? I could mow, and I could irrigate. And I've explained about this later because I started with quite a section on the waterworks here. But now I want to just talk about the soil. The soil itself, what I found that I could do, or got away with doing, was I irrigated. And I've been doing that for 50 years. Contour irrigation with no fossil fuels, no pumping. And I've talked about that enough already. But what I've learned, well, I'm still learning about this. What happens when you keep soil as close to just the right moisture as possible for having life flourishing there, for life, whatever kind of life would grow on this various kinds of bad soil? What happens if the only thing you do is you make sure the water in the soil, the moisture in the soil is optimal that you can do. and then let it go. I mean, I went through the process of planting various seeds, and maybe I'll say about that under the botany. But the soil itself, and how much of the year should I let that water be there? Let that soil be moist. Does it do it good to go dry? Does it do it bad to have water flowing through it or moisture flowing through it all the time? Does that dissolve nutrients away, leach them? Or does it give life time to work those nutrients out of rocks at the microorganism level? I'm going on a little longer than I intended to here, but there is a man and his wife that I want to mention. The man is David Montgomery. He wrote a book called The Hidden Half of Nature. He wrote two other well-known books. One is called Dirt, The Erosion of Civilization. Anyway, I got his book about a year ago, read it, immediately read it again because I was learning so much there. I've loaned it to my Amish friend Elam, and he reads it all the time because he's so into soil. And in that hidden half of nature, and as well as the work of Peter Andrews, an Australian as well, once I opened my eyes to that, and I realized there was all kinds of stuff going down there in the soil that was alive. Well, I just can't. I'd go on too long if I tried poorly to explain it. But it was an eye-opener to me. And so now my relationship with the soil has changed.